You're talking to Toby Mac's #1 merch guy right there, Jordan McGee.
Yeah.
Jordan McGee.
No need to bring Toby into this.
He's invoked the name of the Mac.
Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage. With me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
Hey, how's it going? I got nothing today.
All right. Wow, that's surprising for you. And our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
I got nothing as well.
Okay, good, because we have way more entertaining guests than you guys on today.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
That's surprising. You guys usually have a couple bits up top, but I feel like, are y'all intimidated by the energy that's already
I'm not trying to stop the energy.
I guess I just thought we should keep quiet since we've got these guests on tonight.
Okay, so for anyone that listens to our show knows that recently we had an interview with Aaron Newberry and we covered the album Keep Quiet by the band Sons. Well, guys, with us today, we have two more Sons of Thunder. We have Kyle Laster and Jordan McGee. Welcome, guys.
Our collection.
It's good to be here. It's great. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening in North Carolina. Where are you guys at? Where's everybody else at? Jordan, you're in Nashville.
I'm in Nashville. Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm in Nashville.
You are Nashville.
Cool. You are Nashville. I'm in Arkansas currently for some
Arkansas
reasons. Yeah,
I'm in Texas.
And I'm in Portland, Oregon.
How do you guys know each other?
we went to Bible school together.
Heck
Whoa,
yeah.
which
in
one?
DFW.
No, we went to Dallas
Oh.
Baptist University.
Yep.
Studied music business.
I don't know it.
So we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, yeah.
We're legit.
It's
Agrees
obvious
on
we
the
got
wall.
us
You
all
guys
world
may
of
have
good.
made a record, but we learned about music business. So
Yeah.
We've got a piece of
from
paper.
a Bible college.
Yeah.
it's just a regular college.
Yeah. So that's why we started this, because what the fuck else are we going to do with that?
Exactly.
Yeah. This is what our degree got us. A podcast.
Here we are.
Well, hey, if it's any consolation, this is where our record got us too. So.
on our podcast. Took you real far.
Yeah.
We've all finally arrived.
It only
Good for us.
It took 13 years, Jordan. We finally got an interview about the record.
We finally got acknowledged
Yeah.
that we did a record.
Your patience paid off, man.
Yeah.
I know
job,
dozens
man.
of people are going to appreciate this.
Oh my God.
That's more than already.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, because when we covered Keep Quiet, that was a record we were all kind of familiar with. Josh was like loved that record, and he brought it to us as a wish list record. And then we had way more people online start talking about how much they love that record after our episode.
Oh, really?
So yeah, dude, there's people that love it.
Yeah,
People-
for the ones that know, they love it.
I think Josh talked about people that are in the know. Like if you bring up Sons, you bring up Keep Quiet, and someone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's a good person.
exactly.
Dang, that's cool. I had no idea.
I thought I was
I'm
the only
just
person that listened to it on Spotify.
Same. And then it wasn't on Spotify for a while.
Yeah, well, you know why, right?
No.
When Slow Speak went under, they all their stuff went off. So I think Aaron ended up getting the masters back from Davey. And Davey's the guy from
Yes.
Slow Speak, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that his name?
Basinger. Yeah.
Yeah, he got it back from him somehow, and so Aaron re-put them all back. So now, I know on some of them it's listed as the Sons, which is just awful.
The Sons.
Yeah, he messaged me something about it like a year or two ago. I can't remember because I remember it was gone. And I was like, well, that's it.
Forgotten.
That's it. Nothing's got a disk drive in it anymore. We're done.
It's lost.
It's gone forever. Lost to the annals
But
of
now
time.
Well,
I like the Sons.
Yeah, y'all should have done that.
The Sons.
Sounds like a PBS show or something. The Sons. This week on The Sons.
On the Sons. Like just a recurring sitcom. The Sons.
Yeah, like it's like Matlock style.
I'd
Just
watch
like
that show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would too.
Just about somebody's
Yeah.
sons.
just keeping up with them.
Yeah.
Just making sure they're doing all right.
That's what
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah,
We're
how
just
their
checking
sons
in on
doing?
y'all. How
They're
are
doing
y'all?
good. Yeah, we are the Sons. Yeah, we're doing okay.
We're good.
Thank you.
The Sons.
Get it
Oh, wow.
right.
Okay, you know it's a crazy episode when I feel like I'm the one that's trying to get us
I know.
in control.
Kylan's playing
Yeah,
this straight.
I like
Oh,
this
boy.
paradigm. This is really fun.
I'm loving it. I love the chaos
New
because
vibe.
normally I'm the chaos goblin on the show. So, I want
Trading
to
places.
talk about very briefly with both of you guys. So, you know, a big part of our show is Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. So I always like to start off with people's origin stories. So I want to know, like, what kind of music did you grow up listening to? What was sort of your introduction into Christian music? And, like, what was the first, Christian or non-Christian, what was the first CD that you bought or tape or whatever?
So most of all the Christian music because I didn't grow up in church, so most of all the Christian music that I got introduced to was through like Jordan. And so Jordan, a side note, Jordan and I have known each other since we were 14 years old, Jordan?
No, older. It was like freshman year of high school. Well,
Yes.
That's like
I
14.
technically like because Kyle had a band called Down on Luck, and we had
Jordan had a
A
sweet band called
venue.
Slice.
Ooh.
with a Y.
With a Y?
know.
Oh,
Slice.
hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we grew up in the same like area of North Carolina in Kernersville, and so like the local venues, our bands would cross paths. We would see each other, but then we like became homies in
Yeah.
high school. So like freshman year of high school, whatever. I don't know how old I was. 15, 16,
Something like that.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ever since then, just hated my life knowing Kyle.
I've never
I'm
wanted
so sorry.
I've never wanted to slam my head through a wall more than trying to write music with Jordan McGee.
Yeah, baby. And look where it got us.
Jordan, did you ever think when we were 14, 15 years old in high school and you looked like you had that pompadour, remember? In your Darkest Hour t-shirt? That was so tight.
They called me Oompa Loompa at high school.
Do you ever think that like 25 years later we would be here on a podcast in our mid 30s talking about a record we
Brother,
recorded?
I just hit my late 30s. So
I know.
Thanks for the reminder, right?
yeah, it's great. Happy birthday to me.
Oh, man.
Old Man McGee. That's what they call him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Old Man McGee. Old Man McGee's
Corn cob
dad.
pipe. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
Old
yeah.
Man
he's great.
McGee and the Sons.
Old Man McGee in the
There's the
So
name.
steering the ship back to the question. I did grow up in the church. I grew up Christian. I'm trying to remember I saw John Jacobs in the Power Team when I was a
Whoa.
kid. You know
Oh, yeah.
yeah. You know I have the little baseball bat, the Power Team baseball bat. Like
Kylan, is that on our bingo card?
The Power Team.
It should be Power
Nice.
Team. Yeah, Power Team gets brought
Dude,
up
I
every now
remember-
and then.
The Power Team came to my school and they were like, they talked to us at our school, like in the school. They were all like, positive thinking, and you can tear phone books in half too. And they were like, come see us tonight at First Assembly of God Church. And I got my mom to go. I was like, Mom, these guys are awesome. They were breaking fucking everything, Mom.
strong
And
for
so
God.
No. So it was at my school. So it was at school. So they didn't talk about God at all. It was all like the power of positive thinking, essentially, you know? And then so like, I was like, I got to go see these guys again tonight. So I got my mom to take me to First Assembly to see them that night. They were like, we lied to you at school. We do this for God.
Lying for God.
There's a reason why we're this strong, and we'll tell you if you come to the church.
That's right. I got
But only
look,
after we
I got-
lie to you.
You got a
Those
baseball bat.
sneaky
I got
bodybuilders.
rope-a-doped. I got rope-a-doped by the Power Team.
I only got a page of the phone book.
Well, I went and saw the Power Team, and all I got was busted hot water bottle.
Okay, but I'm trying to remember. There was a concert that happened at very old deep cut. Maybe only the parents will know, but technically my first big concert ever was this Christian band called David and the Giants.
I don't even
Does
know.
anybody know what that
Giants.
is?
Yeah,
No.
familiar.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it
next
was
podcast.
like I had to get my dad to take me out of the auditorium because I thought it was too loud, but I loved it. I was just like, what is going on? I mean, I was like 5 or 6 years old. But then after that, I saw Carmen, and that
Nice.
the rest was history. I was like, wait a second. And then I always loved music, but 10 years old is when I got like my first real drum kit and was like, okay, what's going on here? And so I'm trying to think of what other big influences were early on. I don't know. I have a hard time remembering things like this when I'm asked. I guess I should have done a little.
Yeah, you
life.
should have prepared or something.
I think my first record that I ever had was the Godzilla soundtrack. You remember the remake with Matthew
Oh,
Broderick?
yeah, dude.
It had like
Heck yeah, dude.
like "Come With Me" by Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page on it.
That's not Christian music, though, Kyle.
Buddy, I didn't know what Christian music was until I met you and Drew, and you guys were like, "Listen to this old DC Talk stuff." and then I married a pastor's kid, so like I like lived it all again. So I feel like I grew up listening to that stuff. I remember, I know all of it, but like it wasn't my.
Dude,
I didn't.
wait, you're
find
telling
out
me you've never had a praise and worship set to Jamiroquai?
No, but Jamiroquai was on the Godzilla soundtrack. You're welcome.
I know. That's why I said that.
Dude, yeah, I'm looking at this soundtrack. It is 1998 personified. I mean,
for sure.
Green Day, Rage Against the Machine, Wallflowers.
Oh yeah,
Jamiroquai, Ben Folds
I
5.
love that soundtrack.
So good,
So good, so good.
classic. It's a classic.
Okay, but I did grow up on DC Talk. You're right. DC Talk. Gosh, I wish I had like my CD collection in front of me.
Grip.
Because I
What
just
about
forget.
Grip?
Yeah, Grip. Another band. That's why I did that band. GRYP. Grip. That's why I did Slice with a Y.
there
So
you
wow,
go.
I was like, whoa. We're spelling
have you
things
guys
with a
ever heard of
Y
Grip?
here.
No.
Never heard
You
of
guys
Grip.
need. You guys.
Oh
you
my
guys should listen to
God.
Grip. They were like Christian corn. It's
Oh,
so.
hell yeah.
If you
Wow.
love
Hence
corn,
the
baby.
Y.
It's so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to
they're
have you
great.
guys on
Got
whenever
it.
we cover Grip.
Yeah, you guys will be back
Perfect.
on the color Grip.
Great. I would love that.
Perfect.
I need
We
to
know
go back to
every
that.
word if you can find it.
Oh man.
They should be on Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
Start a campaign for Grip on Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
For sure.
Josh, I'm going to hand it over to you. I feel like I'm asking too many questions.
Man, you're gonna make me direct this? No.
Yeah, I
that was
don't
good.
like
That
feeling
was
like
good.
the adult in
Good
the
luck,
room.
buddy.
I don't like it. It's too much power.
He wants to be part of the.
He does. He
fun.
does. He's just joining y'all. I'm gonna have to wrangle all y'all now.
That's right.
All right. So we talked about So you guys knew each other. You were rival bands, and then you buried the hatchet and joined together, right? So tell us about playing music together.
Did
and-
they say that? I like that
I don't know.
narrative.
I'm creating it right now. I kind of wish that, like,
Perfect. Yeah.
I kind of wish there
hard
was
we
more
couldn't
of
be
drama
defeated.
between y'all. Like you're like, oh, those guys opened for us last week, and now we got to open for them at the same show in Kernersville.
Yeah.
So now that let's jump to where y'all are in a band together and you're playing together, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. What was the first band that
Yeah.
y'all were in together?
What was it? Anadora was what it was called.
Okay.
Actually,
And-
it had like 7 different names, but I
All
actually
with
found
a
a
Y.
CD of
Each one had a Y
Yeah.
in it.
I'm
they all
really
had a
into
Y.
band names with a A in it. Anadora,
Dear
Advent,
Sands.
Adira, the actor and the son, Sands.
The Sands.
Sands
The
or
Sands.
As
We
in
were origi-
comic?
Yeah, we were
Comic
originally the
Sans?
Comic Sans. Yeah, Comic Sans
You
of God.
dropped the
Yeah.
comic
Comic
part.
Sands of God.
Just
Just
stuck with
top-
Sans.
Okay, well now
was
definitely
a-
the artwork for this episode is going to be in Comic Sans. That's so good.
Yeah,
There we
perfect,
go.
Perfect.
There we go.
I wouldn't have it any other way. No, we so we had a guy I played with Drew Folk, who's he's a producer in LA now. What's his name? Wizard Blood, isn't that what it is?
Wizard Blood. Oh yeah.
Wizard Blood.
Wow.
So I had played with him in one of my previous bands, and we all kind of got together to. I don't remember how it really started, but I just remember us all being together at some point, and we wrote in that for probably our whole senior year of high school. I remember.
Yeah, it was like junior into senior year is when we kind of, because I had already started. My first metal band was called Adira. It was only one guy from our same high school that we went to, but Drew, who Kyle's talking about, he used to book shows in the area.
That's
and
right.
So
right.
I also hated him. I hated him, and because he was just such a turd. He was mean. He was just like,
Drew is just like a different, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. He's kind of hard to explain, but I know exactly what you're talking about. He was a turd.
Yeah. But
I mean,
he thought the same
guy
thing about me.
that
He
books
didn't like
local
me
band shows.
either.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's a businessman. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't like
It's a
me
type.
either. And so then he Kyle, I don't remember how it came together, but I think he knew of me through those bands, and Kyle and I had met somehow through mutual friends in high school. And it was just like, hey, we need a drummer. Do you want to do this? And then I came over and hung out with Kyle and Drew and
Sean.
And Sean. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, we don't really hate each other. We're actually the same person. So let's just goof off and write music. Cool.
We did that for a while, and then that turned into Yosemite Mudflap.
Yeah, we couldn't find a singer.
What
for this pop group? They're like, what would you call it? I mean,
I don't know.
rock
We really
stuff.
want to be like Cirque du Survive or something like that.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Bad. That was like
we
right
tried
around
out
the
some
time
singers.
Turner came out. Yeah.
Tried out some singers. They didn't stick, and in the downtime, there were all these like southern rock metalcore bands just popping off left and right.
That was
and
the
we were
time
like,
for
dude,
it.
we could
Us
write
too.
this junk. Like, we could write this no problem.
It's not
That's
hard.
what I just have to say. We did. So Josh and I started a Southern metal band in college. Kind of similarly, Josh really wanted to start a Southern metal band, and I, at the time, did not care for Southern metal. But I was like, this seems fucking easy. Let's do it.
I wasn't a good guitarist, so I started a Southern metal band.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, we can do this. Why don't we just and we just would goof around at practices, and ended up writing like 5 songs, and I was singing from the drums, and was like, well, what if we just? And Drew's like, why don't I just put us on this metal show?
See if we can make money
we'll
to eat at Denny's. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go and get some money for Denny's later. Yeah, just get some free dinner. And then that popped off. And long story short, this label reached out to us and signed us.
Whoa.
Wait, they signed Yosemite Mudflap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
Wild
And
times.
they'll never forget it.
They'll never get that $10,000
They
back
lost
they gave us.
all of their money. They lost every minute.
I'm
So
pretty
good.
sure when he signed us, we were like, you're never getting your money back, right? And he was like, yeah.
No, he told us later. He was
Wow.
like, I knew the day I signed you, I'm never going to see this money again.
What-
And then we got $10,000, recorded
Dude,
the
we were-
album ourselves, bought a van, tied a taxidermy deer head to the front of it, spent all of our money on ripsticks and airsoft gun gear and
Camouflage outfits.
absolutely-
Dude. We bought outfits.
Yeah.
We had costumes. We had stage names. Dude, it was ridiculous. Like
so
we
there
spent
is
it on
recorded
this
music,
stuff.
though.
We would
is
just go
what I wanna
play.
know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's on
Well, that's going
Spotify.
on
You
the
can
show.
find it.
Oh,
yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jordan's still doing some stuff with it, like not the Southern metal part of, but the character of Yosemite.
Well, he and I are
himself.
not the same, so I'll tell him you said hi.
Oh my god.
Could we?
This is
Is there any way
amazing.
we could have Yosemite make an appearance on the show?
Yeah, can you
tonight?
put in a
Could
good
you-
word for us?
Is there a way you could reach out and?
There's absolutely no way that's going to be able to happen. He's real tied up.
Oh, shoot.
Oh well.
Real tied up.
Yeah,
Because
I
that
had
would've
to
been a
ask.
great
I had to
scoop.
shoot my
real
shot.
tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe another time.
It's because
Okay.
he would get first billing
I
on
see.
this episode description.
Yeah.
Oh,
Church
yeah.
Jams Now with Yosemite
That
Mud
would be
Flap.
the title
Yeah.
of the episode.
We'd actually change the
I'll
name
talk
of
to
our show
Rustin.
to Yosemite Mud Flaps
Appreciate
now.
It might help you
Mud Flaps now.
gain some new traction you never thought was
Band
possible.
name was Yosemite Mudflap and the Fireball Wizards.
Yeah, and why we changed it, I'll
Fire.
never understand.
Okay.
Apparently, it was too
Yeah.
wordy. That's what Drew said. It was too wordy. So we almost changed it to Thunder. We almost changed it to Thunder Panther. Was one of
Oh,
the
that
options
is
I
a good
remember,
name.
which is
That's
still a great name.
That's a sick name.
That still is a
That's
really
a sick
good
name.
band name.
I literally named all my iPhones Thunder Panther. Like,
Do you
I'm
really?
like
That is
Thunder
good.
Panther 9. Yeah. So like when my AirPods pull up, they're like my Air Panthers. Like everything's Thunder Panther.
Didn't know that.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
good.
Well,
Yeah.
now I have a
Scunbaballs.
Spotify rabbit hole to dive into right after this is over.
Uh-huh.
So that will be
Yeah, good
great.
one.
Seriously.
All right. So how does that connect us to Sons, to y'all getting hooked up with the other band members and Aaron and whatnot? Take us there.
Yeah, because that feels like quite a shift. Like quite a left turn.
It is. So Jordan was talking about how we could never find a singer for the band we were in, Anadora, right? So somehow through MySpace, Aaron had reached out to us about singing for us. And this was like right around the time I think he had just finished up with like the Terminal thing, like when he was with Terminal for like 2 days. So that's originally how we met Aaron, or at least I did. Because he was in Oklahoma and we were in North Carolina and we were still in high school at this point. Like, it's not like we were like flying to meet or anything like that. So that's like how we originally linked up with Aaron, and kind of always kept in contact with him over the years. When Yosemite finished, when we were done with that, I remember I moved to Greenville, North Carolina. So Jordan and I were living about 3 hours apart. And we had started writing a new project, and I had met Alex Rust, who's the other guitar player in Sons with us in Greenville. And the three of us, me and Jordan and Alex, all got together and we were starting a project, and we had been writing with that for 5 or 6 months, something like that, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, we visited where you were living like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, before
I visited a bunch.
Yeah. But then that was right around the time Aaron had done the Genesis prologue with Drew, our buddy Drew that we played in Yosemite with. And
you recorded that with Drew?
Yeah, when Drew was in Kernersville, like in that little strip mall, like
that's
right in front of where Planet
right.
Fitness is, remember?
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he did that with Drew.
Yeah, so he did that with Drew. And I remember we were all in Greenville and we were kind of riding and we were thinking about, like, for some reason that was like a recent memory of ours. And I was like, what if we just like got with Aaron and just kind of like come, because it was at that time Aaron was just him and he had a guy named Zach playing bass, and that was all they recorded the Genesis prologue with. And we were 2 guitar players and a drummer. So we were like, well, this is perfect. What if we just kind of mash them up and see what happens? And I remember calling Aaron on, like we did like a speakerphone call, like in the car with Aaron, and talked to him. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I think 2 months later, we loaded in Jordan's car or in the
dad's van,
and the Previa. And we took our first trip out to Nashville. It would have been January 2010. It was start riding. It snowed. Remember, it snowed on the way there, and that was like I remember it snowed. It started snowing on the way there. We got there, went to the rehearsal space, and it snowed so much that we went and bought like frozen pizzas and stuff to have, and there was no refrigerator, so we just buried them in snow outside the rehearsal space. But like,
how do you remember that? I don't remember that.
So resourceful,
dude. I don't know, man. That was in that weird green practice space that was Charles's, remember? And that had that sewage leak in the ceiling, just like would slowly drip down on the floor.
Literally, there was poop dripping in the corner of the room. So we went. I remember that we did go to like AutoZone and bought like 20 Christmas tree air fresheners and just tied it to that pipe.
Would you say that the toxic sludge and the air fresheners influence the sound of Keep Quiet at all?
It definitely influenced the attitude.
Yeah, for real. But I remember that session was when I remember we learned, because Aaron had already had Doubt written, and we learned that. And there was what was the other song that we used to play on from the first EP?
There's Manipulators, Caution, and Doubt. Okay.
God.
Caution.
Manipulators. It was yeah. So those 3 songs we used to play in our live set for like the 10 live shows that we actually played. But we learned those. We wrote Retribution. Like we were there for what, 4 days?
That's like a week. Yeah.
We wrote Retribution. And we wrote Sun on the Run, like those, because Sun on the Run was a song that Aaron had for a long time that I really enjoyed, but it was only acoustic. Yeah. And I was like, we need to do this song. Like, I love this song, but let's make it really fucking cool. Let's do full band. And so I remember we wrote those songs and we came home. We were like, I think we really got something.
I was stoked.
We were really passionate about it. And at this time, Suns, the whole time we were in it was all ministry focused. So originally we were on Come and Live, like the Chad Johnson's Come and Live thing, and Sons was one of the bands on that. So in Nashville, we met Chad, we met Nathan, who was our manager. We remember we did promo shots, like our first Sons of God promo shots
in the snow,
Jordan.
In the snow, yeah. We stayed in Charles' dorm room.
Yep.
All of us.
So our buddy Charles is in a band called Better Off. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, but we've known Charles forever too.
He booked shows for Yosemite back in the day.
He used to book shows for Yosemite back in the day.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I just remember writing those songs and like going out there and doing that and just being like, this is like coming home. And like, I remember playing it for my parents on the way back through. Like I stopped and I showed it to them and I was like, this is it. Like, this is everything that I've ever been wanting to write. Like it's, that was kind of the start of Suns. And our period in Suns lasts from almost like right at the beginning of January to like the dead end of December that year. And within that year is when that whole record gets written. We go on one tour, we do a 10-day tour, and then the band completely falls apart as it's known. Like the album is recorded and then it all falls apart. And then the album doesn't release. Just finished recording in December 2010, doesn't release till 2012.
That was a very productive year.
Kyle's got his dates.
I'm so excited to be on here to talk about this because I know we joked about it before that like we never got any recognition or anything. And it wasn't about getting recognition or like anything like that. Yeah. Like that's not the reason that I wanted to do this record. I wanted to do this record because I really believe 100% that we can make something, that God could use us to make something that would impact people in some way. And it was never meant to be a for-profit for us thing. Like the Come and Live's whole thing was like, back in the day was like musicianaries is what they called it. So like all the records were given away for free. Like everything was just like a here, like let this bless you. And then, we'll get it back somehow, so that was like the whole intention of this band. And like, I'm still to this day sold on that idea. Like, I feel like a lot of that stuff is like where any of us are at spiritually, as far as individuals or anything. Like, I don't know what you guys still believe or anything like that, but I still believe that record holds weight and has impact and can impact people's lives because that's what it was made to do.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me. It's a really, really big part of my life. And I felt like there's a part of my soul in that record. So like, I remember all this stuff because it meant a ton.
It was a big deal.
Like it's a very big deal.
Yeah. Kyle, can you walk me through, because you and Alex are playing guitar, right?
So it's me, Alex, and Aaron on about half the songs when he's not playing keyboard.
Okay. So what was like the dynamic?
So Aaron kind of fluctuated.
Are you like, was there like lead rhythm, or were y'all both kind of trading off parts? Like what was, in which role were you?
Yeah, so that would be like we were more trading off parts. Like Aaron kept a lot of rhythm, but I mean, we kind of all just varied back and forth. It was all about like whatever served the song. So having 3 guitar players, I remember in the writing process trying to be very conscious of like, just because we have 3 guitars does not mean that 3 guitars need to be playing at every single one of these parts of the song. So like, if we listen to the record like piece by piece, I could tell you like, that's Aaron and that's Alex, and I'm not doing anything right there. Or like just laying back and creating atmosphere in the background or something like that.
It's tasteful.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like if you listen to it stylistically, like I can hear it. And I don't know if anyone else can really notice it, but like some of those leady parts that are like weird and like really, really eerie and like you would never like for me they wouldn't like I would never write anything like that. Like there's like or any like the tapping parts or anything like that. That's all Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex was really good at that stuff.
He had this weird like the way he wrote was awesome because he was really influenced by like the Chariot and like Norma Jean and like heavier bands like that, but then was still like into thrice. So that's kind of like where his like, and I don't want to speak for him too much because he's not here right now, but he would write stuff like that that was really just like minor key, like weird, almost like creepy circus.
I love
like
writing music. I love writing music with him. I love him so much.
Dude, he was so funny. He was the oldest one out of all of us. We always called him Grandpa. Because he was like only like 2 years older than us, but at the time, like it just like he would always be the first to get tired, and when he would get tired, he would literally lose his mind. Like he couldn't remember anything. He didn't know who he was, where he was. Like he was a fucking nutcase, dude. But he was awesome. I love him. Don't you
dare let him drive either.
Oh my god!
Don't say it because I know you're.
Oh yeah, I can't. I do have to beat that out if I do. We might have a felony charge.
Stop right there. Yeah.
We're clearing the air, guys. We're clearing the air. But this is a safe space. There's no legal action.
Yeah, that air does that.
Yeah,
I'm no snitch.
Does not need to be.
Dude, I'm no snitch.
I think the statute of limitations is up on that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to risk it.
You can keep your statutes.
I don't know, man. Like we would just go back and forth between. Like,
but it sounds like it was like really collaborative. Just cool.
Yeah, very, very much so. And there would be like anytime there was like room for keys, or we thought keys would sound like Aaron was the keys guy. Like it was just like let's like when we wrote Retribution. I remember like those hits at the beginning, like dun dun dun. It wasn't originally like that, and Jordan was like, "Hey, what if we made it sound like Thrice?" You know, like that. Those big, like the big low notes on the piano. You know, like bonk.
I always wanted it to go like heavier. I just like,
that's Jordan's mantra. Let's go heavier. Let's tune lower. Let's go heavier.
Come on, drop A. No,
dude.
Lower.
As a side, the band that Jordan and I did after Sons, we had this argument every week of Jordan being like, no, let's tune it lower. And I was like, dude, we're in fucking drop A
flat.
At one point we were in like drop G sharp or something like that. And I was like, they don't, I might as well play bass.
Go. Yeah, it's good.
Right.
Good.
Just only bass, guys. Only bass.
This was before we knew it. It was like lower than baritone.
This was before baritone guitars.
But like it was like before like all the bands were using like 7 and 8 string guitars, which is essentially what he was trying to get to with a 6-string guitar, you know? So it's just like, dude, I'm playing like overcooked spaghetti noodles over here. I can't play anything.
You did great, man.
That was y'all's band name, right? Spaghetti noodles?
Yeah. Al Dente. It was the Al Dente.
Al Dente.
Al Dente.
You like the A's.
He does like A's.
Exactly.
Hey, nice callback.
Exactly.
Nice callback.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, the guitars were I feel like for having 3 of them, it went way smoother to write those parts. And it all just kind of like, I don't know, man, the whole writing process for that record, I don't really remember a lot of like big struggles, like trying to fight through any parts or anything. I remember things coming like super naturally, and it just like things just like working out, and everybody kind of like ebbing and flowing with each other about their space, their sonic space and stuff like that. So
you remember that? That's how you remember it?
Do you remember it being like bad? Like I'm not saying it was like easy, but like writing a record is never like that. But I don't ever remember there being like knocked down, drag out. Like, no, you're playing too much guitar.
No, here's I'll clear the air just on this one moment, because there was a day where we were writing in that first trip.
I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Where, because there was the 3 North Carolina boys that came to Nashville to hang with the Nashville boys and collaborate. And the understanding was, all right, we're going to get together. We're going to write a record. This is going to be awesome. And so we start writing, And, Aaron is an amazing songwriter and is very, very talented. And he had a ton of songs, but, me and Kyle and Alex were like, yo, we love writing from scratch. Like all 5 of us are here now.
Right.
Let's see what kind of energy we got. And we kind of caught a vibe and started rolling with it. And Aaron just he was frustrated because he didn't understand what the point of that was. And we had, a conversation, a bit of an argument of like, hey, what do you want to do? We're writing a song. And he's like, well, we've got all these songs here that I've already written. And we had to get over that hurdle to understand hey, this is a collaboration here. So we definitely want to go through your catalog because you've written great things and we love it.
But you guys aren't just session guys. Wasn't the point.
It's not. I get that. It's not Aaron Newberry and the Sons of God. It's Sons of God.
But I think to your point after that is when we went in the room and we ended up writing Retribution.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and that was the first song we wrote from scratch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, great.
This is working.
Let's do this more now. So it was. Yeah. So to Kyle's point, once we got through whatever hurdles or personal things or once we got through those and dealt with them and talked about it, we did write very well as a 5-piece because everybody's creative input was heard and respected, and everybody was a very talented musician and songwriter.
It was like a team thing. Like it really felt like we all got together for the same mind, the same mission, and just we're in it together until we weren't.
Right.
Which is a whole nother part later, So
well, yeah, I'm kind of curious too. Like you mentioned how y'all started out originally with the kind of Kickstarter format and that being the whole ethos of the album,
right?
And the intention, Come and Live, that being their whole thing. I was a big fan of So Long Forgotten. That's the main Come and Live band that I was aware of for a long time. So I kind of knew that was their whole vision or mission. And I'd love to hear on y'all's side of things, at least what happened between the Come and Live intention and the end result. Was there just a band business meeting? Was it, am I giving it too much credit?
No. That decision had nothing to do with us. That was after the album was crowdfunded. We kickstarted the whole thing. We raised, I think it was $6,000 to record this record, and it was meant to be given away for free. That's what we told people when we were doing that. We had merch bundles, stuff like that. So we raised the money, we recorded the record. And as Aaron was finishing vocals was when kind of everything happened. And I mean, he mentioned it some in his interview because I know Jordan didn't listen to it, but I did go back and listen to his interview.
Go on.
But that happened after the fact. So I think my understanding of it was that essentially at some point, I wasn't there, so I don't want to say with 100% certainty, but my basic general and maybe Jordan knows more than I do because I know he's talked to some other people closer to it, but my basic understanding was essentially Aaron took the masters and kind of, for some reason, cut ties with Come and Live and sold them to Slow Speak, essentially to get a touring advance or something like that. I think after the fact.
So it was a decision to sort of try to catapult the project into future records or
I guess
tours.
Again, that's long after we're gone. Because again, you think when we left at the end of 2010, which would have been right at the beginning of 2011, the record comes out February 2012. So that's right. A little over a year in that span where it's just we don't talk. I remember having brief for a long time. Once the record was done, we didn't even have a copy of it. We didn't know what was going on with post production, we weren't part of the mixing process.
We weren't mixing or mastering.
That was going to be my next question.
We weren't there for vocals. I
left out of everything.
I love Jared Fox. I think he did an incredible job with the record. It sounds great. it was not the vision that I remember us talking about for the record. Like I remember us going into it, be like, we want it to be real, like kind of lo-fi, like that Devil and God kind of brand new, like it has that like real, like earthy kind of like, like everything's in the room with you sound. And it came out really polished and it sounds great. And the like,
there were 2 songs that were supposed to be instrumentals. And then we get them back, and there's vocals on it. And we're like, "What the heck is
which
this?"
ones were those?
Wild.
Yeah, and there's a lot of vocals on there that were different than what they were. Like I mean, it's not a huge deal, but like the chorus melody on "Keep Quiet," like I don't like what's on the record here as much as what it was when we wrote it. I thought it was way catchier before. And he I think he brought it down to keep it in his range some more. I said, I wasn't.
I mean, yeah, you obviously speak to this as much or as little as you want. But so you said that then you kind of got like those final mixes or whatever, like way after the fact, and all this stuff was changed. What sort of took place in between you guys tracking and then that final product, and because you guys like weren't around for that?
So let's see. Once trying to think of the best way to get to there, like because once Aaron kicked Jordan and Alex out and I left, because I mean that's basically like what ended up happening, you know, like
Aaron
he talked about in his interview, like his ego got to it, and you know, him and Jordan weren't getting along. I don't think him and Alex were necessarily getting along. I think in Aaron's mind it was always like, you know, it was like this was like his baby, his project, and he could, and I think it may have something to do. I don't want to play fucking armchair therapist, so I'm not going to say that. But you know, like I can speculate and stuff like that, but I don't want to do that. But for whatever reason, like what it came down to was Aaron wanted to kick Jordan and Alex out and replace them, and I didn't think that it was the right thing to do. And basically, I got the ultimatum of, well, I'm doing it anyway, and so I said, well, then I quit. So. Me and Jordan and Alex started writing again together not long after that. But in that process, like while he like, because when we left Nashville, when we were tracking the record there, Jordan, when did you leave? Because I know we did pre-production. We did a quick like 3 or 4 day run in like Indiana and Ohio area. We came back. We finished writing it in that weird little shanty room we had rented that was like reeked of that lady had 1,000 cats, and I thought Alex was going to die because he's super allergic to cats.
Oh, no.
It was brutal.
I can relate.
Yeah, but like I remember like that room, those cram sessions right before we went and recorded. We wrote Under the Sun. We wrote Sea of Glass. We wrote Sea of Glass was actually a song that me, you, and Alex had written before. That Aaron was like, I really like this. I want to do something with it. So, but like we because I think we originally planned on recording an EP. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we had like 2 more songs than like we could really fit on it. Then that would make the EP a little bit longer.
Right.
And we had a bunch more ideas, and so like we had time. And so we were just like, fuck it, let's do a full album, man. Like we can do this. And we punched out a couple more songs.
What's the last song on the album called? I can't remember.
Is this a dry season, or is this just a dry season, or is this agnosticism? It's a really long name. It's such a long title. That's one of my favorite songs on the record. Jordan wrote that intro, the key part. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I like, because I wrote that at my parents' house. That was where we like rehearsed and wrote music in like a studio in the backyard. And I wrote like the piano thing and a little drum thing to it, and recorded a little like demo on this little recorder and brought that. And it's like, oh, cool. And then we like worked up this whole thing. It was supposed to be like this big instrumental outro for the album, and which it still was. I mean, I'm not saying that it is bad with the vocals on it, because it is cool.
So that whole song was supposed to just be an instrumental?
Yeah.
Like all 6 minutes of it?
Yeah.
Dang, all right.
I don't remember it was supposed to be an instrumental, but because I remember going to when we were there, going to Thanksgiving with Aaron and helping him work on. That was the only song that I think I helped him work on vocals with. But I remember coming up with some of the melody. But I don't think it was supposed to have as much lyrics to it as it did. You know, a little like more minimalistic in that regard. But
just another moment that I was left out on. It's okay.
Well, the recording was weird. Like we went to Nashville to do the record, and we left November 1st. I remember because it was the day after Halloween, and we went there, and I was there through. I think Jordan, you left before I did because you came. We did pre-production. We did the 4-day run. We did some writing, and then we went in with Jared and started tracking. And you guys went for a week to the Brown Owl and did drums. Just you, Jared, and Aaron. Like Alex and I weren't there. I remember Alex, and my wife Kayla. She was there with me. This is all in my first year of marriage too, so that may have had something to do with all. Yeah. We started writing in January, and I got married in May.
That's a great time to write a record. Right when you get married.
Yeah, was it?
Hey, honey, I'll be gone for a while.
Dude, my wife's a saint. When we were like that year, we did a 10-day tour up to like New Hampshire. We played this festival called Soul Fest.
Right?
And then after we left, our van's transmission went out, and we had to leave it there. And my father-in-law and my wife and her sister, my sister-in-law, they all jumped in a 15-passenger van that their church had.
Legends.
Like immediately, just like drove all through the night, like straight, just came and got us, and then just came back there. Like, no questions asked. Like, we love you guys. We believe in what you're doing. Like,
wow,
awesome.
He was a machine, dude. He was awesome,
dude. He was and we were all so exhausted, man. Because we had been like arguing and fighting. It was so fucking stressful.
Right.
Like
Scotty was with us.
Dude.
Scotty was with us, and he did not get along with Aaron at all.
Dude, you remember the guy that picked us up on the side of the road that was like drunk and eating ice cream? And that dude saved our bacon too, because he was like, dude, our van's like, we were going up a hill and it just like stopped, wouldn't go anymore. So like we had to like back the trailer onto this curb, and we were like,
oh my god,
like it's not going. Like, what do we do? And this drunk dude just like pulls up, and he's like, "You guys need a lift." And he took us in 2 trips because he hooked up our trailer, and he took us like 15 minutes down the road to drop us off at our hotel. Went back and picked up the rest of us, and he talked to us about how much he loved like, prostitutes and like, dude, like McDonald's ice cream, and like, dude, it was wild, man.
Oh my god,
it was absolutely wild, but.
Yeah,
I feel like there's so many stories that keep like popping up in my head. Like I keep forgetting. But anyways, what I meant to say was that my wife is a saint. She's still with me through that. And my father-in-law is awesome as well. I think this record owes a lot to them, and that never got credit for. I think there's a lot of people like Jordan's parents too. Like if it's not for his parents, Barry and Donna, like we don't have space to like we wrote a lot of this record in Greenville at my father-in-law's church and some spots there. And then like the same thing, like Jordan's parents have a practice space there too. And we did a lot there. Yeah. They've always been nothing but supportive, letting us borrow vans, trailers. Like my parents, my dad gave us that van. We never paid him anything for it. It broke down, and we junked it up there. Like it was the old Yosemite van, and my dad had bought it from Yosemite, and he let us use it and just never took anything back. They also like my parents, I remember my parents giving like the last $400 we needed in our Kickstarter, like little things like that are like, like things that I remember that I want to call attention to, like people that help make this band and this record that we're talking about like possible, more so than just us, the guys that played on it. Like,
dude, that's
as someone that feels like they've been kind of in the shadow of this record for so long, and not really, like I said, it wasn't about getting attention or anything like that. But I think if someone deserves some praise for this record, it's the people that supported us along the way. Right?
Absolutely, man.
I think that's one thing that kind of rubbed me a little raw. Like Aaron and I have talked. He called me a few years back and like apologized like profusely, and I believe his apology. My biggest thing is I don't know if he understands the weight of what his decision held in the long term to not just me, but like my family, like my people that were close to me, like people that supported us as a band that it felt like he turned his back onto,
Yeah, that's valid.
So I mean, I think that would be like my biggest thing with that. But
yeah, because I think there's so many artists out there and bands that have an army of people behind them that a lot of their fans never know about, right? So I think it's really cool that you have the opportunity here to like actually shout them out, like by name or or by the description of their love of McDonald's ice cream.
I remember we gave him a T-shirt. We're like, "Hey man, can we pray for you?" And he was like, "I don't know."
I'm good.
I'm good.
I got my ice cream.
All right.
Like, nah, I'm good. It's like, oh no, we're gonna do it anyway. And he was just like stood there. What the fuck is happening?
Prayers are answered, dude. McDonald's ice cream machine was not broken. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, dude. They weren't cleaning this. Hey, it wasn't broken, and they weren't cleaning it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I got my ice cream. Keep your prayers for the next guy.
Yeah.
Hey, jammers. I always feel weird saying jammers now.
Why?
It's the best.
Because we don't do it consistently enough.
We only do it whenever it deserves to
Not
be
overused.
used.
That's true. All right.
save it for
Hey,
special occasions.
jammers. Thanks for taking time out of your podcast listening experience to join us here in Adland, where we're going to talk about Collide Records.
CollideRecords.com, in fact, is the URL that you would want to go to experience everything that Collide Records has to offer. And it is amazing. What do they have?
They got all kinds of music that you could want. CDs, vinyl, music that we cover on the show, a lot of artists that you'll hear here. And then also just other artists is not limited to that. So you can pick up something that you're hearing us talk about on the show, and then something else, that just came out from a big time artist. They got anything that you want, really. U2. They got that new, Songs of Surrender, that big old box set.
They got that.
So, and the cool thing is that they've got big releases, but they've also got some like pretty niche stuff in there that like is hard to find, especially if you're looking at CDs. I've picked up a few rare CDs from Collide, and it's pretty cool. So they got some good stuff on there to find. Stuff that you can't really find in print anymore.
That's the coolest thing, for all of you haters out there saying that we sold out.
I'm glad you said that, Kylan.
that
Everyone's
90s
saying
movie?
that about us these days.
Listeners, he just waved his finger. He wagged his finger at us.
This is legitimately staying in the
Please,
for
please,
sure. We love Collide Records, man, because the inventory that they have is just astounding for music nerds like ourselves. And for our listeners, if you find something that you really like on colliderecords.com, at checkout, if you type in Church Jams Now in the promo code section, you get 20% off.
That's so good.
Your first purchase, yeah. You get 20% off your first purchase, which is just
I think we
super
can
rad.
all confirm that it does work.
Yes, yes. We've all confirmed that it works, which is so cool. Yeah, I love being able to partner with Collide Records. I'm going to say it one more time, and then we'll get back to the show. Visit colliderecords.com, and if you find something that you really love, when you're checking out in the promo code section, type in Church Jams Now for 20% off your first purchase.
Sweet, sweet savings. Do it now.
That was good.
So I want to transition just a little bit. Jordan, I want to talk to you a little bit about track and drums for the record.
Yeah.
Cause I'm looking back through my notes because listeners of the show will know that I have negative attention span and I don't remember anything that ever happens on the show.
After he says something, it's immediately jettisoned from his memory.
It's just completely gone. But literally, my first note on the first song on the record is, "Man, those drums are so good."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, you went
Yeah,
hard,
you hyped
man.
up the drums a lot.
Yeah,
Kevin.
dude.
Dude, there's some fills on this record that I are ingrained in my brain that are just I'm so fortunate to have been able to play with great drummers before. Jordan and I are super spoiled. We grew up in an area with some really, really cool bands around here and have some really cool friends from those bands that are great musicians. But I've had the privilege of knowing and playing music with this guy until he moved to Nashville for years and years. And I didn't realize what an honor that was until he was gone,
Dude, I get it, man. TJ was my drummer for years, and then he moved to France, and then I was like, oh, I just took this for granted. It's like, oh, wait, not every drummer is like this, does not vibe with me like this.
Yeah,
I didn't know this podcast episode was going to be a drum love fest, but I'm here
Hell
for
yeah,
it.
dude.
that's cool with me.
The fill coming out of the bridge and Under the Sun, like where it's like God, it's so sick, dude. It's so good.
Well, I was particularly excited about recording on that album because I had joined Advent. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that band, but it's a hardcore band also based out of North Carolina. But I joined that band in 2009, and that I joined on the tour that they released an album called Naked and Cold, and so I had never recorded or written on anything.
Is Joe playing the drums on all those records?
No, it's a guy named Chris Ankeline.
Oh, okay.
Who is a monster. He's a machine. He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah, so good. But I think he just kind of wanted to transition off of touring so much and be more at home. I think he still plays, but I hope he does. He's so good.
He used to work at the bottle shop here in Winston at
he got into selling,
years.
Being a wine seller. But man, he was so good. But yeah, so I was like hungry to, prove something and show out a little bit. I don't know. I just was like, I wanted to like do something because we were touring and playing a bunch of shows, and I was like, man, I really want to write and record with Advent and do something, and just didn't have that opportunity. And we had like started writing a couple songs, but just never got a chance to record it. So for that record, I was like, okay, what do we got?
Get to show off a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, let's do some crazy fills. That's why I was like, let's do this heavy part, because I was doing Advent stuff.
Well, that's what's cool. That's what struck me specifically. I think about the record. I do remember on our episode referencing As Cities Burn a lot, and I think you guys and now finding out that like the two of y'all specifically kind of like played in a lot of bands and kind of came up together. It makes a lot of sense because y'all have like a similar kind of ease together. Like you can tell like there's a real intersection of vibe and technicality of like you guys like know like when to get heavy, when to like back off and stuff. It's like you can tell. We always call As Cities Burn Louisiana's finest jazz band. So
I was just listening to that episode yesterday.
So maybe y'all can be North Carolina's greatest jazz band.
There you go.
I don't know how to spell jazz.
No, I can't say.
It's got an A in it.
There's a Y.
It's got an A. Yeah, with a Y.
But I can't.
Jazz with a Y.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Jays.
Jazz.
Wait, are
Jays.
we talking about the Utah Jazz? Karl Malone, John Stockton. Yeah, that was my team on NBA Jam. You guys play NBA Jam?
Hell yeah, I played NBA Jam.
Oh, Utah Jazz, baby. Karl Malone, John Stockton. Let's go.
Buckets.
I was a Hornets man.
Okay, back to the drums.
Back
drums.
to the
Back to the drums.
Drum love.
It's enough about you guys. Get back
I got
to
a question.
me.
I got a question for you, Jordan. There was something I think Kyle shared with us when he was giving us some dirty deets on the recording about some chains on a kick drum.
Bro, I sent some pictures in there.
Tell me
in
about this.
the pictures I sent.
I want to see the picture. I'm trying to remember.
We'll have to share those.
Oh, was that for Sea of Glass?
I think so. It has like I think you played it like I remember stopping by.
Play it with a
when
mallet.
That was happening. Yeah, but we had like there's
Whoa.
like chains and there's a tambourine on it and there's all sorts of shit on there.
That's so rad.
Yeah, because it was like we want to give it this haunting vibe. So like, okay, let's like give it that chains. I don't know, like something boomy with a mallet. Let's go big. And what's that Christmas Story? The Bah Humbug. What's that guy's name? Wow, my brain.
Scrooge?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Give it.
I almost said Scrooge
McDuck.
McDuck.
Scrooge.
Yeah, him too.
It's okay. Well, because the
Scrooge
guy
in
is
his money.
Jacob Marley, and I almost said Bob Marley. Yeah. It's got that real Bob Marley vibe.
Yeah,
all
Scrooge
doing
McDuck, Bob
great.
Marley. That's what they were
We're
vibing
all
in the
doing
studio
really
that day.
good. We know what we're talking about. But yeah, I just was
we're
thinking
all
about
in our
like,
mid
I
to
don't know
late
if you guys
30s,
can see
so
this,
we
but,
can
like,
be
you see all
forgiven.
those chains.
We've thought about it
that's
enough.
so rad.
Two
Yes.
chains.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll have to share that picture.
Dude, there's 2 tambourines on that kick drum. I don't know if you guys can see it.
One wasn't
Chains,
good enough.
a towel, and 2 tambourines.
And a lot of tape, which is the right move.
Well, you know,
when you're in
the
studio
tape is
with
on
some
there
drums.
because Jordan tried to cut his own, sound or like air vent in there and slice the head. Yeah. Like, dummy.
I play them. I play the drums.
Come and live
Beat
and
them
learn.
skins, man.
I don't build them. I play them.
Yeah.
So, what are y'all's favorite? I would like to know favorite songs. You can also talk about favorite moments as well, but I would like to know, do you have a favorite song or songs that you're the most proud of or you just enjoy the most from the record?
Jordan, you go first.
What is is it Under the Sun? The dun 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 dun. Yeah. That's probably one of my favorites because it's like kind of scratched all those itches for me of like wanting to do something heavy, but like keep it creative with good melodies and all the guitar parts working well together and his vocals for that. Everything just worked out really, really well together. And that was one that we all wrote together as a unit, Cool. So it was like, all right, this is ours. We wrote it from scratch. And we all kind of got to hit our fix in this one song.
That's rad.
That was one of those ones we wrote in those Nashville cram sessions, like right before we went in. And I remember you and me coming up with like starting that because I started playing that riff because we had just listened to Axe to Fall by Converge.
Oh yeah. Dude.
And what is that song? That song's like, God, I can't even remember how it goes, but I remember it having like a slow kind of like chuggy riff like that. And I had the baritone out and I was like, gun, 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 gun. And it just, Jordan's eyes were like, yeah. That's the one. And Jordan's eyes got like this big, he's like, let's go. And it just like, I think we wrote that song in like 2 or 3 hours. Like it.
A good riff to me is like a Red Bull. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's go.
I think my favorite song on the record is Ghosts, which is another one that like Aaron had that kind of guitar riff, but like we all kind of wrote that together. And it's just like, it's so sweet. And the production on it is perfect. And there's actually, so I remember on the episode, you guys asking or saying something about the auto-tune vocals at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So fun fact about that is that's originally done by, I think his name's Josh, he's a singer for a band called Edison Glass. You guys remember the band Edison Glass?
Edison Glass.
Yeah. So he does guest vocals on that song. I don't know if you pick up on it or not.
Sweet.
But at the end there, he did. But so he originally sang that part that's auto-tuned by Aaron. And he's got that really, really high, beautiful range, But the time signature, like something about the time from where he had recorded it, like, and sent it over to Jared, the guy, Jared Fox that produced the record, he used to work for, I can't remember his name, but he did Fiends by Chasing Victory, and he did the Edison Glass record. Yeah. So Dantzler, that's right. So Jared used to work for Dantzler when he was doing those records. So he had rapport with the guys in Edison Glass, and he was like reached out to him, was like, "Hey, would you want to do guest vocals on a song?" Which I love. But that auto-tune part was part of Josh's vocals that wouldn't sync up with the track once they got sent for some reason. And so Aaron had to redo them, and he put auto-tune on them to give it some sort of effect, which I'm not super crazy about, but it works. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are Aaron's vocals. They're not Josh's.
Some of them are still, so like there's a really high harmony. It's like better breathing deep, finally find the end. It's never. There's like a background. It's like it's never too late. Like you can hear it's real high in the background.
Yeah.
But it's but that's him. But that song just like I get chills like even now, like when I listen to it or I play along to it or something like that, because I still go back through this record like once a month and just like play.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know now. I kind of want to change my favorite song now because that's the one I've probably listened to the most.
That song just like, and then to follow it up with "Sun on the Run" is just like that could be a 2-song album, and I would just like just like they're powerful, man. They just do something inside of me. I love those records.
Places.
Yeah, Ghost kind of had it all.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, just the whole like the riff, the melodies, the strings. God, that's Jared's wife, Kara, and one of her friends.
Cool.
She was like a session cello player, and they did live strings on that, which is something that Aaron did after the fact. But the strings are incredible. Like everything is just so.
But we
talked
about having strings on the album before.
Right. But it was just I don't know. That song scratched the spot for me. And there's one little part at the end of the song "Keep Quiet." So originally that song finished out like with like a big chorus, on the record, it does this thing where it you get through the bridge and it like drops down and it does like this really pretty soft, like chorus. And the little guitar part that I'm playing is just one of my favorite little parts that I've ever written on anything. So
that's in the bridge of Keep Quiet, you said?
Yeah. It's just like this little riff that I play at the end. And it's just, I don't know. It's really cool.
Nice.
I like it a lot.
So rad. That's
fun to play.
So I have a question. I don't know if this is a good question or not, and so Josh and TJ can pivot if it's not. But okay, so there's 12 songs on that record. If you guys could today, if you could do like some kind of live set of like, I don't know, maybe let's like 4 or 5 songs from this record. How would you structure that set list?
Jordan, what would you? I think I'm sticking with Masters of Flattery to open with. I mean, that's like what we were opening our last couple shows with, and that's just it's a like you guys said on there, like it's a perfect record opener, man. Just
it really is. It's a perfect live show opener too.
Yeah.
Get your kicks all you can.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's a good. I would definitely start with that one.
As much as I love like Ghosts and stuff like that, like I don't know if I only got 4 or 5 songs to play, I'm playing straight heaters, man. Like I want to do Masters of the Flattery. I want to do. We're probably gonna do Doubt because Doubt was the single off the record. Doubt was the song everybody loved. Like it, and it's it's
Keep
a great
Quiet.
Song. I don't know, man. Keep Quiet is kind of like it's like full band and it's loud, but it's still kind of like draggy. I feel like I'd do those 2 and I'd probably hit, I definitely want to play.
Which one had the weird drum beat that started? I don't even know my own album.
No, Keep Quiet's the one that has that weird, Yeah. Because it's that
I always
weird,
wanted to play that live.
Intro. Yeah.
I always wanted to play that live. Wonder if I can do it.
What songs are you closing with? What's the closer? So Masters is the opener.
Man, I think we can close with Ghosts. I don't know.
You think so? Do you remember we used to open with that song Dangerous? You remember that slow acoustic song we would like really, really mellow? We would open with Dangerous?
No. You remember so much.
I remember it all.
That era, I have erased that year.
I remember it all, man.
All right, we're gonna chuck that year in the toilet because also at the same time that this was happening, that I got kicked out of Sons, Advent was calling it quits, hanging it up, and so both of these were just kind of like the carrot dangling in front of me that I'm just seeing at all times walking and go okay,
just a big
what's
kick
next?
in the pants.
Yeah.
So we started a band called Over the Earth. There's no A or Y in that. So.
It's not
an A
over the air.
But that was a year after all of that. We started Southern gospel group.
Oh, I remember you did that. Yeah, that was weird.
Called the Gospel Stylistics. I was I gotta do something
from church. What was that?
Barney.
From church? Oh, Marty.
Barney, dude. No, Barney.
Barney. Yeah. That's right. Barney. What a gem.
One of the best experiences ever, dude.
The
gospel. I want to put that band on blast right now. You can't find them on the internet anywhere, boys. The Gospel Stylistics. We played Marvin Sapp.
Marvin
Sapp.
Mm-hmm.
The football player.
Yeah, the football player, right?
Would have made
something.
Wait, is that his name? Marvin Sapp? Never could have made it.
Never would have made it.
Jordan's bringing like real grandpa energy now. He's got a couple whiskeys and he's like, well, you know,
Marvin Sapp. Yeah, you guys think I know what I'm talking about? Google or look on Spotify. Marvin Sapp never would have made it.
What are we closing the set with, Jordan? What are we?
I don't know. Let's do a cover.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
All right, hold on. What are we closing out with on the set?
Dry
Back to the album.
Dry Season. The last song, dude. We're gonna get
That's
heavy
good.
as balls.
Yeah.
And
That
we're
would
gonna
be
go for
sick.
7 minutes or whatever. Yeah,
It's
dude.
just instrumental still, right?
Just instrumental.
I don't care.
Mute
Dude.
the vocals.
The weirdest part of it, so, like,
just front of house, just mute the vocal.
dude, just cut him out.
Front of
Just
house, mute them.
Not even in the monitors.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
That's great.
I played drums for a country artist here in Nashville, and they would mute his acoustic. Right out. So bad.
That is
It's like all this, like,
amazing.
yeah, George Strait, he's got a guitar up there. He's not.
Yeah.
It's not coming through the system. Like that's a country thing. They're up there playing acoustic. No, it's not coming through.
That's not
Yeah.
Like miming it up there. I mean, he was playing. He had his guitar in his ear.
I thought he sounded great. He was just like,
hey
man, did you guys hear me?
Best show ever. Best show ever.
Hey man, did you hear me hit that lick and stranglehold tonight, man? I nailed it. Yeah, I'm closing with that. Even because and then the nice thing is like the first half of that song, I don't have to play anything. Like I'm just not doing anything. Hands off until that.
Vibing.
Then you can come in. Yep.
Yeah. That's I don't play anything until then.
So good when you come in on that guitar.
You remember when we did that the first time? We did that when we were writing that song. I was like, I have an idea, and I tuned my guitar down super, super low for that. It's in like
I was in for that.
Sharp. Yeah, and I was like, just stop right here and just let me go, and it stopped, and I went,
Nice.
I'm going to jump out of a window on our dude.
Kyle, I wanted to get
awesome on that guy right there
on record because you talked about in the email that you sent us about the original title of the record and how that changed because that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm always like,
yeah,
this is an interesting cover for this album title.
Yeah, so we originally had talked about like it was originally we were going to call it like I remember us talking about it in the studio when we were recording. We were going to call it Under the Sun, like that was supposed to be the name of the album.
Oh yeah.
And then when it came out, it was called Keep Quiet because I don't know. I guess it's a catchier title. I don't know. I genuinely
it was a message.
Yeah. Hey,
there's a message to y'all specifically.
There's a message to me.
Keep
He didn't
quiet.
want to hear me
Great.
checking him on anything anymore. And he's like, no, keep quiet, Jordan.
That's good.
I can't believe you had Joe Mustin call me.
I didn't.
But did y'all like go through and like pick the artwork already out? Because the artwork goes very well with Under the Sun. Or do they just just like we're not gonna change the artwork? We'll keep the artwork, but just call it Keep Quiet.
We didn't have any of that. Like none of that was like decided on. Like I remember us tossing some ideas around and stuff like that of things we might like. I don't even remember what they were. They weren't that. Like that was just like how did Charles do that album artwork?
I think so.
I think so. You remember he did
so.
Do you remember he did the video for Doubt, the original video for Doubt, and Aaron and then they didn't like it and they didn't use it.
Charles did it?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No, it was all like I said. I erased all.
I remember us like you. Charles sent it to you, and I remember he showed it to me, and they like did a video where it's like it's like them playing, but it's all shadows and stuff like that.
Oh,
it kind of like the cover almost. And they were like, no, we don't like this. So instead, they went with this like hodgepodge of like like one of those music videos where it's like all clips from live performances. Like,
okay, yeah.
See, guys, this is why me and Kyle worked well over the years together because like I don't remember anything, and he's got all the data. And our chemistry works well.
Yeah.
Because I'm
this
just
doesn't
like,
sound
oh
familiar
yeah.
Yeah, that's we always on the show refer to Josh as our collective memory and our archivist.
I need people like that.
Can't keep anything straight.
Well, that's why like
do it,
text me and was like, hey, these guys just tagged us in a podcast about the Suns record, and I was like, oh, what the what's happening? Yeah. And I listened to it like immediately that day. And like, as you guys were going through it, like every little note you had, I was like, I remember we did that because this and this and this and this, like it was all like, just like, it was all there. Like, I remember, what's the guy that did all the old Reliant K records?
Mark Townsend.
Townsend. So Jared was buddies with Mark Townsend, and I remember he had told him that he was doing a record, and he was like, "You got to come by and borrow some gear. You got to come by and borrow some gear." So him and Aaron went over there, and they came back with like 2 pedal train pros just full of pedals and duffel bags with pedals in them. And he was just like, they said that they got there, and like he was just like, try this. So like, I think I used a different guitar on every song. Like Jared and I sat down with all the guitars on that record. Like we did mine first, and then we did Alex's, and then we did Aaron's, and him and I just sat and nerded out and tweaked guitar tones and just like, no, I think this pedal will be really cool. Like some of the heavier guitar parts are like this like JTM 45 like plexi head that Jared had called a Keck. I've never seen another one in my life. But and then we ran it with, he had an Epiphone Les Paul with 59s in it, and we ran it through a matchless hot box. Like I remember these things, like not most of the overdrive tones that I would use would be my orange that I had at the time I would hit it with either a True Tone boost or an old vintage Marshall Shredmaster pedal was what I would use a lot. Yeah. So like, I mean, we just had like so like that's another thing. Like towns, like all these people that just like invested in this record with their time and their gear and their just all these things. Like Jordan, I remember you used like 3 or 4 different snares, I think,
from Shine Drums.
Well, you had a one from Shine
guy.
And then there was like a vintage Gretsch metal snare there, I think, that you used.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's photos somewhere that could show like what gear I actually used, but
because you were still
it was all,
you're still playing your pearls at that point too.
Yeah, you hadn't had a pearl export. I didn't.
Dude, that was my drum set for years.
It's dude, if you put good heads on it, you figure out how to tune, and you're good to go. I mean, pearl makes a darn fine drum. Sorry, I'm just digging into your grandpa vibe since you guys can't.
No, I love it. I'm here for it.
Have another whiskey, Grandpa.
It's all that gray hair you're getting, buddy.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't know what you're talking
about. So Jordan, you touched on it briefly, but I do want to ask, like, what are you guys up to now? Like, what are y'all doing now musically?
Like personally, I'm eating some food at about 10 p.m.
Good for you, man.
Just living the dream. Just living the dream.
Eating food. The McFlurry machine at one broken. I'm good to go.
Well, yeah, exactly.
No, but musically, you mean like each
yeah.
Well, I still play drums for Advent, and we actually just recorded a new EP. So we'll be releasing some new music soon.
Oh, sick!
Nice. And then I'm affiliated with the artist that we've talked about in the podcast by the name of Yosemite Mudflap.
Correct.
And so him and I are working together on some things that are fun. And then I just freelance drums and play for some other artists. I live in Nashville. Travel.
Is that what you're doing? Just a professional musician?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You pay the bills?
Yeah. Impressive. No, I mean, there's odd jobs here and there and some tours. Merchandise management that's what Kyle was, when he started the podcast, was talking about Toby Mac. Because I'll tour with Toby Mac sometimes and do merchandise.
As Yosemite Mudflap?
No, they wish. But yeah. No. Everybody part of that whole crew and camp is awesome.
That's awesome. Very cool.
That's cool.
What about you, Kyle?
I don't play much. I just play at home, man. That's it.
I get that.
That's a shame. We gotta get those sweet guitar licks back out into the world.
We need to get an over the earth round 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jordan and I did a band after Sons called Over the Earth. That second EP that we put out, Jordan is probably one of my favorite. Like it's right up there with this Sun's record as like one of my most proud musical accomplishments. Like we wrote that record from nothing. We recorded it ourselves in
You recorded it.
the studio in Georgia. Yeah, you guys were there and helped too. Like we recorded it ourselves. Like we just. I mean, that record. That band was fun because it was. I mean, Scotty played with us for a long time, and then we had Matt and Corey. But it was just kind of like Jordan and I were just like, fuck it, let's do it, and
we'll do our own thing.
Like I said, we recorded it ourselves. Jordan pressed it like their hand stamped like on the there's
cool.
It's not streamable anywhere
like
that. Like we burned them on a CD.
Now. Like where is it?
Like DIY stuff. Yeah. Like I is there any way we can get that up on Spotify or something, Jordan? Do you know how to do that?
It's on Bandcamp.
Oh, cool. I was just looking there.
Cool.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Where is it?
Cool.
What's the name of the EP? Oh, the Accident
it's called
EP?
Man.
Oh,
Man.
Is it not?
Yeah.
It'd be Over the Earth in C, I think is what it is.
Sorry, I'm looking at it right now. I'm always down to find new music to listen to.
Kyle Astor, Corey Doran, and Jordan McGee.
Yep, that's right.
We had our buddy Matt play bass.
Who was
Josh? Send that to
we
me.
had Matt,
that guitarist for Beloved.
The lead guitarist for Beloved played bass for us.
Bass.
We made him play bass.
You know, you're pretty good.
Amazing.
But why don't
pigeon.
you?
We're like, hey Matt, can you learn these songs on bass? And he's like, yeah. Like, yeah. Sorry, that was a stupid question. Sorry, he was stoked to play bass, but it was like, yeah, of course you can learn these songs. Again. Like, yeah. Oh man, he was great.
I love those guys.
That was fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I just have one last question, but so I want to open it up to Josh or TJ if y'all got any other questions y'all want to ask. Josh usually has a couple in the pocket.
I've got a lot. I'm just cycling through them, but I just want to know, like we've talked about it a little bit, but how y'all view the legacy of this record and the thing that y'all made, and I'll say for me, like I don't know, maybe we're double dipping a little too much on this one album, but like for me, like I'm really stoked to have this bring this up on the podcast so we can just like have it out there to tell more people about it, but then to have our podcast just be like a vehicle and really just an excuse to be like, hey, come on and talk about like the music that you made that you're proud of. Like that's what I really want this podcast to do and to be. And so like I would want to hear from y'all, like, I don't know, how do y'all feel about it now that it's 13 years that it's been out? It's been out for 11 years. You recorded it 13 years ago. How do you view it now? Obviously with a lot of like some drama that happened back in the day and all this stuff, but like how do you feel about it? What's your view on its legacy? Yeah.
Man, for me, looking back at it, like I'm very, very proud of it. Like even though like the changes were made without our input, whether it be artwork or added vocals or whatever, like I still am excited to show it to people, and like I put it's a part of my resume, and like I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the creative work. But that time period as a whole is not a positive one. And so it's 50-50. Like it is a time of hurt and pain because I gave all of me to that project, like where I was spiritually then with my friends and making new friends and like growing as a musician and a creative songwriter and all of that. Like it was just, I gave everything I had and then it was taken away. And so it was a lot of hurt from that, but also I still have this thing that I gave all of myself to, and there is something to show for it, because we did pour in a lot of the goodness of what we wanted to convey through this album, whether it be what we were talking about or the emotion of the music. I think it was captured, so I'm still proud of it.
That's so rad. Yeah, and I'm hoping, nice. I fully understand all of the hurt associated with that, but I'm hoping, at least a little bit the fact that like we do this show and at least for us, like I said, like we've had conversations with people online that are also just like, fuck yeah, this record is amazing. So at least for y'all, I hope that like tips the scales ever so slightly. That there are people
That's
that are
really
still,
cool to
like,
hear that.
appreciating and loving that record.
Yeah, we definitely hope that y'all personally feel sort of seen and celebrated and appreciated for like what you put into that work.
No,
and
I mean, I
the
want to
time.
say, like, I really appreciate you guys, like, doing this podcast. I think I'd never heard of your podcast before. You guys did the Suns record, but since listening to that, like, I've gone back and I've been listening to like a couple every day because I do a lot of driving for my work, and it's a blast, man. Like, you guys it's really cool, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here. And after 13 years to get to talk about this thing that we made, that, like, I mean, Jordan, I don't think I can say it any better than you did. Like, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I'm so incredibly proud of this record. The work that we put into it. I have so many good memories from writing and recording this record, and I have a lot of hurt from it. And I don't know if the weight of that hurt has been fully realized by everyone involved. Like, because it wasn't just like me and Jordan that were hurt from, like, feeling like just like he said, like, I put everything I had in it. That's why I love this record so much. Like, it's everything that I wanted to do and what I felt like I was supposed to and called to do at the time. And it felt like somebody pulled the rug out from under me, and that hurt me. But then, like, after listening to you guys' podcast, I was like talking to, like, my wife about it, and she was like, it hurt me to see you have to go through that. You know, like, I literally had my husband, who I cared and loved about and supported in every which way, and I could not help him. Like, and he hasn't been the same, like, since, you know, like, I don't want to say that, like, I'm still carrying this baggage. Like, I never, but I am at some point, you know, like, I didn't, like, Jordan and I played a little bit together after that, but nothing was ever really the same after this, you know, like, Alex, I never played again. Like, he played at church after that, but he's never played in another band again, you know? Like, I don't know what happened to Jacob. I know last I heard from Jacob after all that, he had a baby.
Oh, nice. Really?
I mean, that was like 5 or 6 years ago, man. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, man.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah. But like my in-laws, like my family and stuff that is, like, you think about, like, my parents, like, who supported me and supported not only me, but, like, Jordan. Like, they supported every project that Jordan and I were together, just like his parents did for me, you know, like, Jordan's parents gave me my first Bible after I got saved, you know, like, which is wild to think about. It's also wild to think about crazy. That, like, what's the craziest thing to think about is that, like, when I got saved, I had been talking to Aaron about Jesus. Like, on like MySpace or like AIM or something like that, you know, like, so, like, he was involved in that, like, and then to have that person,
it
like,
all just kind of
take that, you know, like, it's like, it's a really, really elaborate situation that happened to us, and I like the opportunity to get to talk about that and kind of share my side of like what this record means to me. I think it's amazing that people are still listening to this record, because I say it every year on the anniversary, and I tell my wife this all the time. I still believe in this record. I still believe this record holds power. I believe that it holds spirit, and I believe that God's word's in this record, whether you want to listen to it for that or not. I mean, I also think that it's just got some heaters on it, man. I think it's got some really some songs that I really, really like. It's just songs, you know? So if people can just listen to it and just be like, man, that record I love it. You know, like, that's really cool. Like, talking to Josh today, I was like, he said that he was listening to the record to like prep for the video or something like that. And I was like, oh, cool. 2 monthly streams this month. And he said that there were like 750 some. And I was like, I don't listen to it that much, you know, like,
so that's unique listeners is what that is. Yeah.
Nice.
Like we weren't a big band at all. I felt like we could have been. I felt like we had the opportunity. I felt like it was right there, you know, like, and I'm not saying that that's what we wanted to be, but there was momentum behind it. Like, it felt like we were moving, man. Like, but people are still listening to it. People still enjoy it. And I think the record's aged well. I think it's still something that people could put on now. And it's not like, oh, I could see why you would be into that when you were 15, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's record that could come out now and people would still be like, hey, this is a solid record.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. CJN listeners, take a drink. The beauty of this podcast is literally that, because kind of what you were saying too, of like, you know, you were in a big band. You felt like there was like this opportunity, this moment in time where like you could have been, is something that I think the three of us as hosts have all had different experiences that were relatively similar. You know what I mean? Like we're all like, you know, this podcast now is like something we just do for fun, but we all like, especially like in our early 20s, we're like, okay, like this is the band that's going to make it, or like this is the band that's going to quote unquote make it. So it's something that like we personally relate to. That's why I think throughout this interview, I feel like I've been able to relate to you guys quite a bit. And it's just, I don't know. And that's the thing is like, for me personally, if someone had been like, yeah, you know, there's people that still appreciate this art that you created a long time ago. That's all I want to do. I just want to talk about music. And so, you guys made some fucking rad music 13 years ago. And
Thanks, man.
I'm glad we got an opportunity to actually talk to the people that made it. Cause we Josh, TJ and I do this literally constantly. We only record for like 3 hours a week, but we spend the rest of the week literally just doing this and talking about it. So it's super cool to bring other people in and have that conversation. So I super appreciate you guys.
I'm excited that I was able to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to do this, Jordan. It's it's been fun to go down memory lane with you.
Yeah, man.
So unless anybody has anything else, I think we're gonna maybe wrap it up there.
I mean, unless Mudflap wants to make a cameo.
No, he doesn't text me back.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
Next time.
That's a long flight from the moon too at this late at night. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I didn't know he was.
You think that's the moon?
Buddy, what do you think I am, new?
We won't go there. That's for Yosemite.
Okay. Is there anything? Is there anything you guys want to promote? I think if y'all are cool, we'll maybe post some of those pictures Kyle sent and.
Absolutely.
Maybe post about the Over the Earth Bandcamp if you want people to listen to that.
Yeah.
I'd be down to.
Jordan's got some killer lyrics on it. It's a killer record, man. He's sick drums. I mean, I like it.
Kyle recorded everything. You know, like he needs a shout out big time because he just set up in his living room at the house he's renting and just
we did the drums in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
We did the guitars at the studio, and then Sid, our friend Sid Menon, he did the vocals with Jordan.
He helped a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, I suck at
and he mastered
it. I was like, Sid, I want to sound like I'm a good singer. Can you help? Like, yeah.
Sid's a great singer. Sid's a great producer.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate guys to like be like around like so many cool dudes that were in cool bands, like that we were able to be close with and stuff like that. So.
That's the best, man. That's like
shout out to all those guys
that
helped bring us along and stuff. Like I know, like all the guys, like the guys in Dead Poetic, like they were a big group of guys for us, like coming up, and the Beloved guys and all those dudes. So shout out to those guys for everything that they've done for us, making us want to play music. And
you just mentioned Dusty Redmond twice, is what you did. It's Dead Poetic and Beloved.
You want me to call him? You want me to call him? Get him on the phone?
Yeah.
You can talk about all the 10 other bands he was in.
No,
let's get him a call.
Way too much to cover.
We get Dusty on here. We're gonna cover half the Tooth and Nail catalog.
For real, honestly.
Yeah, we'll be here all day.
Jesus.
Sweet. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end it here. I'm gonna do my little spiel. If you enjoyed this, we have more nonsense like this at patreon.com/ChurchJamesNow podcast. Also follow us on all the social media at Church James Now. May all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, Mon Frères.
Peace out, Mon Sons.
Mon Sons. I like that.
Mon Sons.